Hey, Adam, didn't see you there. You heading home for the evening, or does Mr. Seraph have you looking into something new? Can't talk about it. Right. Well, just take care of yourself, okay?
I really should have stayed in bed this morning. Missed the bus home and the subway is shut down. I swear if it isn't one thing, it's another.
So, sorry to say about security now. I'm going to talk to this guy first.
Imagine. William Taggart, right here in Detroit. What a great man. I know some people question his motivation, but I think he's only looking out for the little people. Look, companies want profits, now. They don't care about the effects their products might have in 10, 20 years. I know my history. Just look at the tobacco industry.
And yes, I've mentioned that earlier, right? Asbestos would be another example, but that is a direct result of capitalistic practices. You know, short-term profits.
I'd advise you to stay away from the DRB gang if you can.
Are what capitalism's all about.
Information network, including directory assistance, tourist information, and Street Quest. Services are temporarily offline. Thank you.
Yeah, not really helpful.
You looking for something? Well, good luck finding it, whatever it is.
So I will point out, this is the map of Detroit, where we'll be wandering around for quite a while out here in the next section of the game. And this is basically the first big city hub that the game has. I started to say about security measures. The cameras are an obvious thing, but many people may be aware of radio frequency ID chips. Some people have injected them in pets. Other people have, in certain areas or certain societies, have injected them in themselves. Or they can be put on belongings too, of course. But then that also almost leads to the question of, okay, if you put it on, or if you put it in something or someone, then is that person just a thing? Or how do you regard things? Some societies have a more animistic view, and, you know, they regard what we would, in America and certain other Western societies, might regard as inorganic items that are inanimate or not alive. You know, some societies don't feel that way. They recognize the spirit in everything. You know, Japanese Shinto philosophy would be one, Native American philosophy, or maybe Inuit, you know, the Eskimo societies, their philosophies might be another example along those lines of being more animistic.
I got a right to live my life as I choose. And this little corner of the universe here is mine. God bless America, man.
He's got a pretty positive attitude considering he's homeless on the street. I don't have any inventory space right now, so I can't pick stuff up. I'm going to clear some stuff out here in a little while. And then I'll also be looking at, you know, things to augment and all that sort of stuff. Oh, one of the other things I wanted to do is show you. We checked the newspaper here. So, hostages rescued at Seraph Manufacturing Plant. Tragedy was averted in Milwaukee Junction this evening as Detroit's SWAT team swept through the Seraph Industries manufacturing plant, freeing workers from pro-human extremists who had been holding them hostage for several hours. It could have been a bloodbath, commented Sergeant Neil Townsend, chief of the tactical unit, but we encountered very little resistance. The operation was a complete success. Townsend's words stand in stark contrast to eyewitness accounts criticizing his team for reacting too slowly. The SWAT team sure took their sweet time. They stood around for hours, like they were afraid to move or something, said an unidentified man. Townsend's department is still deflecting blame for mishandling a similar standoff 2 years ago in Mexican Town, when a SWAT team killed a 15-year-old teen, igniting a citywide riot. Anti-AUG terrorist at large. The mastermind behind today's hostage-taking at Seraph Industries is on the loose. He is being hunted by local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies. A decorated ex-Marine, Ezekiel Zeke Sanders, is the leader of a group of militant pro-human activists known as Purity First. Okay, a couple quick things about this, though, and this will happen as you do different things during the game. There'll be news updates related to what you've done. But Mexican Town is actually an area in downtown Detroit Metro. And you heard earlier, that Adam evidently was blamed for some kind of a massacre or, a riot that happened down there. But Milwaukee, the thing is that Milwaukee, where the first mission was with the factory that we were at and dealing with Purity First and Zeke Sanders, well, that's in Wisconsin, of course, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's clear across the state and across Lake Michigan, north of Chicago. I'm not quite sure why a SWAT team from Detroit would be in Milwaukee, because that would not be in their jurisdiction, to say the least. So I'm not quite sure if this is just like miswritten or if things have radically changed as far as how jurisdiction works, in 20 years from now. But it did strike me as being very odd, when I first read about this. I'm like, oh really? How does that work?
Don't get on my nerves, pal. I'm done talking to you.
Well, we didn't really talk in the first place, now did we?
Little advice? Avoid derelict row. Hate to admit it, we've lost it to the gangs.
I don't mean to judge, but I think that people who choose to augment themselves are rejecting their own humanity. They don't understand that it's our limitations that make us human.
Oh, that's one viewpoint. Of course, there's also the question of what about people who are in accidents and stuff like that. But in fact, you can see here, this map right here actually shows locations in Detroit Metro, just so you know. And, places like, there's the Renaissance Center, Millinder Center. There's a skywalk across the road between Millinder Center and the Renaissance Center. I used to actually walk across there all the time. There's the Cobo Convention Center. So I don't know why they were calling the convention center the Mullins Center in the discussions that were going on or whatever. Not really sure about that. But so here on the map, they're still calling it Cobo Center. I'm like, okay. Maybe somebody just messed up the writing.
That's a pretty lame come on, hun. Especially since I just know this humidity is ruining my hair. Whatever.
Okay, so she doesn't want to talk. I'll go into the station in a little bit. I want to show people. See this up here, the tram? This is actually in downtown Detroit as well. It's usually called the City Mover. I think that's its official name, is the City Mover. I never actually took it myself, but it's an overhead or an overstreet tram that stops at various different locations. So people don't have to drive around downtown or even walk. Okay, coming back here. I want to actually save here. Okay, because we're going to talk to Letitia.
Well, shit, if it ain't the captain himself. Mr. Seraph done fixed you up good, ain't he? Give you a new set of glasses and everything. Damn.
How you doing, Letitia?
Didn't think I'd see you walking this boulevard anytime soon, that's for sure. Not after what happened 6 months ago. People said you's down for the count.
People tend to underestimate me.
You and me both, Captain. You and me both. You got any credits you could spare?
So evidently, Adam, when he was on SWAT, used to contact her fairly regularly to get information about the street scene. Because they obviously know each other and have talked before. Now, I kept the beer. People who are maybe wondering why I kept the beer, it's because Tish likes the beer, and this particular brand of beer, the Hot Devil. So I was holding on to those to give to her. Because if you give her a few, she loosens up and gives you something back.
Here. It's not credits, but
Mighty kind, Captain. Mighty kind.
this one's on me, Tish.
Oh, keep it up, and I'm gonna have to give you something back.
That's kind of the idea.
Don't say I never gave you anything.
Oh, shit, Captain. Now that's almost too much. Damn, Captain. You knows how to warm a girl's inside. Here, you take this. I found it on Brooklyn Court, near the basketball court. Thought I might hold on to it, case I needed to crawl inside some rainy night. But maybe you find some use for it instead.
Okay, now, as far as getting the information,
How about you give me some information, and then we'll see.
Oh, damn, Captain. You ain't no cop no more. Why you gotta insist on using them rules?
Because it's my money this time, not the department's. You want it, you better give me something that's worth it.
Yeah, I guess. So what you wanna know?
I'm just going to ask her about the city mood.
You've always had a good feel for this city, Tish. What's the mood on the street these days?
Oh, things ain't looking good, Captain. People losing their jobs, their homes,
Sounds like today.
locking everything they's own into those garage door storage units round town, hoping nobody breaks in and steals stuff. Mr. Sheriff gonna save us? He better do it soon.
Or what?
Not sure. Just feels like this whole city's waiting to explode, especially in the alleys behind the gas station. Most of the time, you's fine walking there, long as you don't cause no trouble. But you do something wrong, well, cops and punks both trigger happy these days.
So, she doesn't charge for that information, but now, see, for the weapons, he's asking, where would a less than exemplary citizen go to get unlicensed guns? Well, again, I'm playing Adam as kind of as law-abiding as I can, at least at this point. Very, high on integrity and all that. So he wouldn't be looking for that normally. And then kind of the same thing about the secret paths, as far as doing trespassing. Well, again, he wouldn't be real big on that either. So I'm willing to leave those. And